Music is good. Good, great. All right. Then we are hopefully on track. So, yeah, I'm going to just quickly show you once again what I'm working on, because that might have been not understandable in the first attempt. So yeah, there's this little ship thing that you can drive around. You can run into stuff, and it does this little, I don't know what to call it. It does this little rotation when you crash into stuff, and you can make this fake water come out of the ship, like you're a tanker or something, full of water, but it's actually just a bunch of circular particles with alpha clamping, so it looks like it's more or less consistent. But the main feature that I was implementing this week in this game, it's not a game yet, but yeah, hopefully it will be, is that whole thing that you can essentially water the ground, which will hold the moisture or the water. And my plan is to add some sort of mechanic that you can plant stuff which will grow from the ground, and of course which needs water to grow. So that is where we are at the moment. And yeah, I was also opening the jam page. Oh, let me just bring that up again. So I'm making this game hopefully for the One Game a Month or Havi egy játék game jam, which is a small community game jam in Hungary. And it has 3 themes this month. One is post-apocalyptic, one is burn money, and one is weather control. So I'm thinking either going with the post-apocalyptic stuff. So this would be, you have to keep a little greenhouse garden growing or something, because it's not possible to grow stuff in the proper ground anymore. Or maybe I could go with weather control, I don't know, not sure yet. But yeah, something like that will crop up, hopefully. Hey Granger, welcome in. Thanks for joining. We had a little technical issue, a little hitch. Also Flavius, thanks for the shout out for Granger. If anyone is watching and not already following Granger, I suggest that you should give him a follow, because he's an awesome Unity dev who is working on a roguelike at the moment. So, but he's also doing a bunch of projects just like me. So I'm guessing he has a mild addiction to game jams as well, because he does some game jams from time to time. So yeah, give him a follow. And by the way, Granger, how are you? Because yesterday I think you mentioned that you were a little off. Are you feeling better? Hopefully you'll stream today as well. I mean, if you're feeling fine. Right, okay, I'm going to move this window over here. And me many projects? No, never. Of course, yeah. No. I was just joking. It's not that many. I mean, yeah. Just a few, you know. It's an epidemic anyway, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was showing you this but yeah, this prototype stuff with the whole watering stuff. And the way it works right now is actually a little wonky, because these little bars that are growing as you water the ground are actually separate objects. So each one of those bars is a separate object, and it's literally growing in height as you water the ground, which is probably not great, because we have a bunch of freaking objects. As you can see, we already have more than 1,000 because of these little bars. And I can probably tackle this situation with some configuration, because right now I said that the width of these bars should be 4 pixels. So if I crank this up to 10, then we are sitting at almost 500 objects, but it looks like this. So yeah, I'm not so sure about that. It's not bad, but it would be great if these little widths could be as thin as possible. So for example, this is the 2 pixel version. It looks, I don't know, better for me, I guess. But then again, even if I'm not using the water feature, at the moment I'm at 2,000 objects, and if I start spraying stuff around, then we are quickly growing in the 4 and almost 5,000 yeah, definitely over 5,000 mark. So yeah, this will be probably horrible. Also, I'm sitting on a fairly beefy PC at the moment, and it's already, you know, going up 50-60% CPU usage. Yeah, not great. So today I was thinking that we should do some kind of optimization, or rather a rewrite of the whole thing. So instead of using separate objects, I was thinking that maybe I could have a similar effect by using a drawing canvas, which is essentially just a bitmap that I can manipulate during runtime, and have the water gauges or vessels or whatever they are called. At the moment they're called vessels. So they could be on the canvas actually. And this just means that I only have one object, and it will help visualize the whole ground watering stuff. Yeah, I'm really not feeling the words today, but yeah, that's the usual case anyway. So let me just check chat as well. Still a bit under this morning. We shall see based on how I feel in the next couple of hours. Well, hydrate, and I don't know. If you're a vitamin guy, then you should probably do that, because yeah, maybe it will help a bit. ECS or compute shader. Well, I've heard of ECS. I know it's entity component system. I don't know what it means though. And shaders. Well, I have no idea how to do shaders in Construct or in anything. So yeah, vitamins are good. I'm actually also snacking on those every day essentially, because during the cold months I either do that or I immediately get sick. So yeah, but yeah, do hydrate. That's also important. But why am I telling you, you know, that stuff? So yeah, okay. I think I'm going to try to crack on with this idea of using a canvas and kind of using it to visualize the water, although I'm not quite sure how to do it. So this will be a fun experimental stream, and I don't have a to-do list. I don't have like milestones or anything set out for this project. I'm just going to wing it and see where it goes. So yep, that's what we are doing today. Okay, I'm going to lower the volume in my ears a bit and add a canvas object in this project in a minute, but first I'm going to save it as a new project file. Oh yeah, PNG tuber stuff. By the way, I did the PNG tuber thing yesterday. I'm going to show it to you in a minute, because Flavius was kind enough to draw my pixel art version, a pixel art version of my face, which actually turned out to be more handsome than I am actually, but never mind that. So yeah, I whipped up a little project in Construct, and it actually reacts to the microphone and stuff like that, hopefully it won't break anything. So, but first I'm going to just save this project. So let's go with V7. Compute shader is a way to pass off heavy calculations to the GPU, not really a shader per chance. Well, you can just say per chance for one thing, but yeah, I think yeah, still you have to do it in the GLSL or whatever shader language is suited to your platform, I guess. So I have no idea how to do that, but we'll see if performance is even a problem a bit later, because the whole water particle thing actually is still not completely optimized, but when I started doing it, it was a lot worse than it is now. And this mostly has things to do with the fact that Construct has a little weird default for collision grids, or not collision grid, what is the right expression? Yeah, so objects colliding in Construct have a certain inbuilt optimization technique. So to determine whether two objects are colliding, you can split the whole layout in a grid. So into, what the frick is the name? It will come to my my mind eventually. So yeah, you can optimize collisions by specifying a smaller grid. So objects are not even checked for collision if they are too far away, essentially. And when I first posted a video of this project in the Construct community Discord, Federico, one of the rockstar devs, if I might say, actually suggested this collision optimization thing. Let me just look it up, and I'll find the name of it, because I'm sure that it happens. Yeah, collision cell, that's the right one. So the collision cell can be set arbitrarily, and I just set it to 64 by 64. At first I think I tried 128 by 128, and it was fairly similar. So because essentially when you see these little water particles moving and colliding with each other and bouncing off surfaces, these are a bunch of freaking collisions. So collision optimization is key if you want to get good performance in a situation like that. So yeah, and I think Federico said that that by default Construct uses a collision cell size that is equal to the current layout size, which is just nuts. I think. I mean, if you have a big level, then it's totally nuts. But I'm not sure if he said layout or the viewport. Maybe it was the viewport. Still, the viewport is quite big. So the viewport is probably the same size as your layout if you're doing a single screen and no camera game. And if you have a moving camera, then your layout is bigger, of course. But still, the viewport is still quite big. So maybe a bunch of projects could benefit from using a smaller collision cell size. I don't know. Retroactively, I might try to do something like that for older projects that I have lying around, because some of them are not great performance-wise. So yeah. Okay, where was I? I was going to make a new version of the project, which I did. So I'm just going to create a drawing canvas object now, and I'm going to place it on the which layer? I think I'm going to create a new layer for it. So, I'm going to call it canvas, and I'm going to just move this right here. I'm going to size it to the same size of my layout, which is the same size of the viewport as well. Okay, and let's take a look at the horrible code that is actually spawning these little vessel objects, the little bars that are overlapping the ground. Let me find those. Yeah, it's right here. So when the game is starting, a bunch of ground objects are created. So these are all the instances of the ground object, and these actually act as spawners. So when I have an object, I need to spawn a bunch of vessel objects on top of it. There's a little calculation that decides how big the vessels should be. Of course, they should have the same height at one point as the ground, but at the start they are starting at 0 pixel heights, so they are invisible essentially. And whoops, okay, spambot stuff. Seribot banged its head, which is good. And yeah, so essentially it's spawning a bunch of these little vessel objects right here. Or is it? No, it's here. So yeah, here's a little for loop, and I'm spawning a bunch of these vessels, setting its width to the appropriate width, its height to 0, and adding a little hierarchy. So the ground actually is the parent object of the vessels. So when I'm splashing these fake water particles onto the ground, the vessel object is colliding with the water particles, and it's growing in size. I mean, it's in its height, it's growing. So this is how it works at the moment. And what I want to try is to remove these vessels completely, and instead just use the drawing canvas to draw pixels on top of the whole screen. And I'm not sure if it will have better performance, but the other day I was looking at an example in Construct. Let me just show you. Yeah, so there's this little example. It's quite fun. It's a example that is demoing the line of sight behavior in Construct, which also has this raycast feature. So you can just have a character and start casting rays, which will be reflected from solid surfaces. And this whole thing, the visualization part of it, as I'm moving it around and it's working in real time, this is actually the red lines are drawn using a canvas, so a drawing canvas object. And I figured that if this could be this fast, then maybe it's not too bad to redraw the canvas all the time at every tick in my game, because I would probably need to do that, or maybe if not all the time, but definitely when there are collisions happening, the canvas should be updated. So I am going to try to do something like that. So at first I'm just going to disable this thing completely, which means that there are no more vessels spawning. So I can splash around, but nothing is happening. And what I need to modify is to have the collision detection for the ground and the water particles behave in a different way. So it's quite wonky as is, but here's the bit that is deciding if a water particle should actually be destroyed, and if it was destroyed when colliding with a vessel, which is not the case anymore, it should call the vessel's custom action called fill, which would change its height and also the height of the neighboring vessels, because when you are watering a single vessel, the other one or two neighboring vessels are also increased in height. So this will give you a little once again, it's fake, but it looks better because it kind of looks like the water is spilling over to the next vessel. So yep. Okay, so I think I'm going to disable this part too and figure out some things, because this is where I actually need to update the drawing canvas. And for now, I'm going to start simple. So I'll need to figure out a way to store the amount of water that is stored in a ground object. And I should still have some kind of array or something that actually allows me to store the amount of water per vessel, which is not a real thing anymore, but I'll need to store this as well. So I'm guessing that the best way to do that would be to add a container and actually store the data of how much water is in the ground, how much water is in the vessels in a ground instance in an array. So I'm going to add an array for sure. I'm going to call it vessels, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the best word to use, but I can quite easily rename stuff in Construct, so if I come up with a better one, I will use it. The first version was called container, which is not a good idea because containers do exist in Construct. In fact, I'm going to use one of these features right now. So I'm selecting an instance. I'm going to create a container and add the vessels array to it. And hopefully this propagates to all the instances. Yes, I think it does. I have no idea what this is, but I think we're good. Okay, so collisions, let's go back to that. So whenever I'm hitting a ground instance with the water particle, the ground instance is pigged, and because it's part of a container which also has the array is also pigged. So I can just probably say something like oh crap. let's see the array actions. I'd rarely use arrays in construct, but I'll figure out a way to do what I want in a few minutes, hopefully. Oh, crap, I was looking at the wrong object. Okay. So I need to change a value in the array. But first I'll need to initialize the array, so this is also going soon into the created event for the ground. So I think I'm just going to do this at first. So x should be whatever x is at the moment plus something. And also I need to determine x. So I need to figure out the position of the water particle that is colliding with the ground. So I think I'm going to do the pixel based version. So if a ground object instance is 100 pixels wide, then this means that it will have a vessels array that is also 100 elements wide. So I think I can probably do something like f water, which is the particle, minus f water x minus ground.x, and the value should be self dot how do I retrieve? I think at is the right one expression. So I'm guessing something like that. Also, I need to initialize the arrays. So I'm going to reinstate this event, but disable all the sub events in it. So when a ground is created, I need to initialize the array by specifying its size. So vessels set size, and the width should be ground.width, which is funny because this is the array width and also the width of the ground object in pixels, but I guess it works. And the height and depth should be just 1. Right. Okay, so when I'm setting the value of this stuff, I think I'm going to dump the whole array to the console, so I can just check if it's even updating correctly. BRB shopping, but I'll be lurking. Thanks, Flavius. Have a nice shopping experience. I'm not sure if you're doing it remotely or IRL, but yeah, thanks. Also, I got a new follow, I guess. I'm still terrible at this. Let me just... why don't I have proper events showing up in OBS? Because I probably closed that doc. Let me just fix that. Thanks, OBS. Smods. I think I've seen that username before. Thanks for following. Very nice of you. Cheers. I have a hunch that you saw my post in the Construct Community Discord. Welcome in. Right. Okay, so what was I doing? Yeah, okay, so I just want to dump the whole vessels array as JSON, I guess, to the console. Let me just resize the window, open up the console, and see what happens. Okay, something is definitely getting printed. So if I'm watering the left part of it, then seemingly the first few elements are, yeah, these are different arrays. That's the problem. These are different instances. So let me just restart that. and clear the console. And I think I'm going to move down a bit. So there's a ground object below the bounds of the layout, so I can just water that part a little. And I'm going to stop, and I'm just going to scroll up. So this is a big one, and seemingly it's not really displaying the stuff that I want to see, because it's all zeros from what I can tell. But then again, when I was doing this sort of thing, I saw some values. Okay, I think I'm going to assume that it's, even if it's not working 100% correctly, then but something is working, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with the visualization part. Okay, yes, and this should probably go somewhere after this. So after I update the array, yes, I saw the community post. We chatted a while back in DMs, definitely I remember, about 3D wizardry and drawing canvas techniques. Yeah, and here we are back again at drawing canvas. Yeah, was kind of interested what you were up to. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate this a lot, because I don't have many viewers, but still, I like the fact that you found this interesting. So yeah, hopefully, yeah, you can either give me some good pointers on how to do things, or maybe you know, just see some stuff that you wouldn't have normally thought to try, because that's how I usually roll. So thanks for joining in again. I'm sure that you saw the video as well. So I'm in the process of rewriting the whole watering the ground mechanic, so that actually we are using a drawing canvas object to visualize the water that is inside the ground object instances, instead of using a bunch of tiny objects that are overlapping the ground. So yep, here we are. Okay, I'm going to do a super dirty first version of this visualization. I'm just going to say drawing canvas. I think I'm going to clear it at first. I think this is just going to clear it to a transparent color, which is good. And after that, I'll need to, yeah, I think I'm going to refactor this already. And to do that, I'm going to create a separate action sheet called canvas. Look for a nice, maybe not this one. Okay, a nice emoji, because this is the sort of thing that I do. I put emojis in the event sheet names, and also I call some of them action sheets, which are something I made up. So I'm going to create a custom action. Oh, by the way, I can finally press Shift-A to create a new custom action, which is amazing. This was added in the last stable version of Construct after I requested it in GitHub in the feature requests repo. So yeah, cool, because I was able to do almost everything with the keyboard when I'm in the event sheets, but not the custom action stuff. So I couldn't create a new custom action by pressing keys. Okay, so I'm going to call the custom action update, and I'm going to move this to here and just call this right here. So after I reset the whole drawing canvas to a single transparent color, which is not a color per se, but yeah, I will need to go through all the ground objects, I'm guessing, with a for each, possibly. This is not optimized, not by a long shot, but I just want to see if it's working, and then I will optimize it, hopefully. So if I go through all the ground objects, this also means that I'm grabbing all the instances of the vessels arrays that are related to the ground objects. And I just need to add some lines, essentially. Which represent the items in the vessels array. So I'll need to add a second for each, but of the other kind. I just need to go through the x-axis, and I think a line should cut it, because these are also single pixel stuff, so it can be a line. It doesn't have to be a rectangle at the moment anyway. Still, if I want to do that, yeah, I can still use a line, because I can just specify the thickness of it and use a square line cap, so this is fine. I'm just going to set this. Okay, so now I need to figure out the positions. So x1 and y1, okay. So x1 should definitely be the current, so ground.x, but maybe not ground.x, ground.bbox left plus vessels, and I need to get the index of this stuff. Not quite sure how to do that, so I'm just going to look up the construct docs. Okay, maybe I won't have to do this using the for each. We'll find out. Okay, so the cur_x expression is actually the one that I was looking for, so I can still use for each. I don't have to do a manual for loop or anything. So cur_x should hold the current index of this. Oi fella, what's going on, Tibor? How is your Sunday? Are you at the workshop? Are you doing stuff and things? By the way, people, Tibor is the other half of our little game studio called Laser Magnet Games. He is the artist part and I am the programmer part. So yeah, welcome in. So cur_x and y should be ground.bbox_top, I'm guessing. And x2 should be exactly the same as x1. And y1 should be bbox_top plus vessels dot and I'm guessing cur value, right? Yeah, so when I'm doing the for each, the cur x, y, and z expressions are for retrieving the index, and the cur value expression is for retrieving the value. Yeah, cur value. Let's go with that. It doesn't have a parameter, no. And I'm just going to use a solid white color for now. Well, let's see if anything happens. Yeah, the frame rate is dropping to its knees, which is not great. And yeah, something like what was happening is still happening, but good God, it's horrible. Also, something's very wrong, because I'm watering this part of the ground and this part is growing, so what the heck. I'm having some offset issues, I'm guessing. Uruk-hai helmet painting is going on. That's good. Yeah, this is the canvas rework I just started, and yeah, this is just the first version, and it's already not great performance-wise, but I am going to keep going because I'm sure that I can optimize it to a certain extent. Right. I need to figure out a better way to do this. I'm just going to have a drink of water and think about it. For one thing, I can now remove this clearing stuff. Not that it's the problem, but yeah. This is definitely wrong. Because the ground, I believe, has the origin in its middle. Or maybe not. Yeah, it does. So if I want to retrieve its top left position, I'll need to use the bbox left and bbox top and stuff like that. Expressions. Okay, so I think the offset stuff is fixed. The frame rate is still terrible, but this is not the end of the world. Okay, so let's try reducing the amount of calls for this drawing canvas update. So I'm just going to move it from here to here, I guess. It might do this exact same thing, so it's happening every tick. Also, nothing is happening. Okay. Why? Oh, I don't know why, but I disabled this part as well. Oops. Okay, so that's better. Actually, it's quite good. So the collisions were happening a lot, and I'm guessing they were happening more than once per tick. So it was a ridiculously large number of calls for the drawing canvas to be updated. So now that I'm only calling it once a tick, this is a lot better. And it actually looks quite alright, I think. I'll still need to pop in some mats so that, just like in the first version, when you were watering a part, a certain vessel, the neighboring vessels were also increased in size. So I think I could do that, and this would also smooth the whole thing a bit. And also I could do a bunch of mathematical smoothing stuff so it doesn't look like that. But I'm not going to do that. Looks like ice, pretty cool effect. Yeah. It's I mean, maybe it will have ice as well. I don't know. Yeah. It's alright, I guess. I'm not sure if I want the little lines to be this narrow. No, that's not the right expression, but so not thick. I couldn't think of the word, but I think I can try to reduce this. But I think I won't. So I'll just add the little extra mats for the propagation between the virtual vessels. I wonder what happens if I'm specifying invalid indexes and stuff like that. But if I know construct right, I think it's just going to ignore it, which is totally fine for me. So when I'm increasing a certain vessel, I'm also increasing the neighboring ones as well. So I'm just going to say -1, and let's just go with nice little hard-coded values. I'm going to make a to-do-mn comment for myself because this is horrible, but mn stands for magic number, of course. So whenever I'm not feeling like making features, I just do something like that, and a bunch of to-do comments come up, and I'll just, you know, pick one at random and fix it. And as you can see, there are quite a few ones called to-do-mn, which is fix this freaking magic number, dude. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely more water, like, although it's overflowing, but I can still fix that. I just need to limit the amount. Yeah, it's pretty cool, I think. Maybe 0.5 is a bit too much. Let's go with a lower value. I guess it's all right for a first version anyway. All right, cool. So let's limit the stuff. And to do the limiting, I think I might want to refactor this whole thing in a separate custom action, I guess. You know what? I already have a vessel action sheet, which has this fill custom action in it. So I'm just going to do essentially a similar thing, but that deals with the one that deals with the array instead of the old vessel objects. So what am I doing? Okay, custom action time. Add. I will need to specify an index. I will need to specify an amount that is about to be added to the vessel. And also, I think I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So propagate ratio is not a great variable name, but I used that before, so I could just copy it. Okay, and what I need to do is to move this sort of thing and call the custom action instead. So this should be already picked because the ground object is picked and it's in the same container as the vessel array. So I named it add. Oh yeah. Right. So the index should be, let me just copy this right here. So the index should be this one. The amount should be 1 and the propagate ratio should be 0. Let's go with 2. And what this needs to do is to actually have index right here. Value should be swapped from the magic number to this amount variable. And once again, if propagate ratio is over 0, I then want to add some values to the neighboring vessels as well. So I don't need to do this overlapping check, which is also great because overlapping checks are also quite expensive performance-wise. And I can either do recursion or just do this. Okay, something is sus. Right, yeah. I mean, the ground should be picked here as well because it's in a container with the vessels array, so there shouldn't be any picking issues. Still, something is sus. I screwed up something. Found it. Also, I think I'm fixing a second bug as well. Okay. This is neat. So I just need to add the maximization bit so it doesn't overflow because right now it does, as you can see. Also, this issue is back. Okay. I'll need to figure out something for this because I don't want this to happen. So you shouldn't be able to water the ground from the side like that. So I'll need to do some sort of collision check maybe. Or just a position check possibly. So the water particle, when it's colliding with the ground, should be very near to the top of the ground, so to the top of the bounding box of the ground object instance, I'm guessing. So I'll need to check for this and only allow this whole thing to happen if it's near enough. So if the x position of the, I mean the y position of the water is less than the ground b box top, and I need to think about an offset, +2 or +3, I don't know, and at the same time it should be greater than this -3, I guess, and then this whole thing should happen. So if I'm now watering this, it doesn't happen. If I'm moving it closer to the top, it will actually start watering it. So I guess it's all right. It's not perfect, but it's better than the previous version. So yeah, that's all right. Also, magic numbers once again. To do MN. Right. Crap, I forgot to drink my coffee. Now it's cold. Yeah, it is. I wonder what I can do to increase the realism of the water vessels. Definitely I'm going to paint them blue for one thing. I'm just going to yoink this. No, not the hexadecimal one. Or do I? No, I need to retrieve the RGB stuff. What an excellent way to do it. Nope. Okay, so colors. Also, I'm going to need to use RGB A255 for this, because we are now on a 255 scale. So now it should be blue. Yeah. Great. I think I'm going to crack on the propagation ratio to 0.5. What happens if I move it to 1? I don't know. Also, I'm wondering if I should have some more smoothing, as in the updating of the canvas could be delayed a bit. But I think for now this is alright. I would much rather do some sort of mechanic, like growing plants and stuff like that from the ground, and having the plants retrieve the moisture from the ground. So now the canvas object should be updated to remove water as well as add it. So now to do that, I'm contemplating adding back this little clear stuff. Why is this not clearing the canvas completely? Let's just look up the relevant documentation once again. Okay, this is weird. Because I thought that this expression would clear the canvas completely, but seemingly it does fade it out a bit, but it does not clear it. Although I know what is wrong. So this should be 255 because we moved to the other scale. So yeah, fixed. Good. So it wasn't the clearing that was wrong. Nice. Dry soil usually looks light gray. As it gets more, it gets darker. Also, Smart said that you are clearing it, then redrawing the lines after. Yeah, that was okay. The problem was that I changed the RGBA expression to RGBA 255, and I forgot to change 100 as the opacity to 255. So yeah, but I was actually thinking what you meant, that maybe I'm clearing and drawing it too fast, and now it's stuck between a halfway state or something. But no. Problem was with the opacity of which I was clearing with, not clearing, drawing with. So yeah. So Tibor, what do you mean by this? By the way, dry soil usually looks light gray, and as it gets more, it gets darker, definitely. But do we want to actually be realistic with this whole thing, or do we want to have brown soil as most games do? I don't know. Still, I can play with the darkness as well. So yeah, I think also I might want to do some gradient stuff with this whole line drawing thing, but not sure. let's just do the limiting first, because right now it's quite possible to overflow the ground, and yeah, this doesn't look great. If it would be ice, then it would look good, but this is water, this is moisture, so it shouldn't look like that. Okay, so one of the reasons I did this was to limit the height of these lines to the height of the ground object. Okay, so I think it's time to modify this and use min and ground dot height as the maximum. Boom, that is done. Okay, I think I'm going to pop a little build of the current version to itch, because why not? So you guys can test it if you want, see how it feels. See how it feels. Sorry. Okay, that is done, and I'm just going to run the little script that pushes up the current HTML build to the itch server and also to our little lasermagnet.com website, which is actually hosted by Vercel. Okay, let me just check on the stream game. Good. I think I forgot to update the build number. Whoops. So it still says 8B, which is the previous build, but don't mind that. I'm just going to pop the link in chat. If you guys want to take a look, you can just click it and run it on itch. And yeah, let me know if you have any ideas on what to change with this whole water thing. Right. So yeah, I can probably change the color to something that is dark gray or something, but then again, I will probably need to have a different background color for the whole level because it's quite dark gray at the moment. So I don't know. I'm not an artist. Oof. Yeah, this will collide a bit with the watercolor, I guess. Okay, this is fairly post-apocalyptic. No, it's not, but I don't care. Let's just recolor the ground objects a bit. Also, oh yeah. So I guess I can probably just use white for this and use a color overlay instead of the... Wow, it looks like crap. I'm not even sure what I'm doing, but please bear with me. Yeah, this is probably the best part of the stream, right? I don't know. Let's go with this. And also, I will need to change the color of the water that is in the vessel. So I'm just going to go with a dark gray, I guess. Something like that, I guess. Maybe even darker a bit. Yeah, doing it gradually would be great. So there's like gradient. Towards the end it gets lighter and towards the top it's the darkest. I'm not so sure if I can do this easily with the canvas, but we'll see. I mean, it's something. It looks bad, but don't mind that. We'll fix that in a post, and by post I mean next week with Tibor, when he can actually take control of the whole visual aspect of the game. Because I sure don't know anything about this sort of thing. Okay, right, what did I want to do? Oh yeah, this gradient stuff. Let's look for some options. Huh, okay, there's fill linear gradient, which is interesting. Right, it has directions horizontal and vertical, which is, I guess, okay for us. So this is a rectangle instead of a line, which is fine. And I can specify two colors. I'm guessing the first one would go on top in a vertical configuration and the second one at the bottom. Let me just quickly check something. Yep, okay, so, oops. So the left and top are all right. The right and bottom should be increased by 1. And I guess I can do something like that, right? Let's see what happens if I do that. Yeah, the problem with the gradient is that it's linear. So what I want instead probably, or maybe not, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. So it would be probably better if the fade out bit was only at the end of the line. So there's like a solid color of the line that is dark and it starts fading out towards the bottom, because right now it immediately starts fading out and the fade out is very much dependent on the height of the line. But it looks quite cool. I mean, it's good for something, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm going to crank up the amount for now, so we can test a bit faster. Tibor, are you here? Perchance? What do you think about this gradient stuff? Is this something that is better than the solid color version, or should we go back to that? Somewhat here, yeah. By the way, feel no pressure to, do your thing. But if you have the time, you could just take a look at this gradient stuff. So right now, I'm drawing tiny gradient rectangles instead of the lines, which were solid color. And this also means that when they are completely filled, they look like this. So this is essentially completely filled. I can play around with the color, with the opacity of the end of the gradient. And of course we can play around with the colors later. Yeah. However, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do this canvas-based thing. So I think I'm going to create a new version of the project file and clean up some stuff, because we don't need the vessel object anymore, and all the related things. What the? Okay. I get a little confused with these version numbers, I guess. So we were on 8, because I probably forgot to update it from 7 to 8 or something. I don't know. So we are now on 9, which is good. Where's the update bit? So I'm going to say something like, I don't know, 150. Or just 50. It looks quite watery or wet or moist, or I don't know any horrible words for this same type of thing, but yeah, I guess it's alright. Yeah, I'm going to leave it as is for now. Pretty neat, yeah. Cool. It looks like the rust, like rust drip. I have no idea what rust drip is, and I'm afraid to Google it, but I'm guessing that is something, it has something to do with the water turning into oxidization or something, so yeah. Yeah, there's this bending stuff that I'm not quite happy with. So maybe I'll try to do the recursive thing. Let me just experiment with this a little bit, and then I'll do the cleanup. So right now, when I'm calling this add custom action, I'm only increasing the amount of water stored in a vessel and the neighboring ones, and that's it. And instead I could do something like what I did in the previous version, where it was essentially recursive, although I was also passing it with the propagate ratio parameter of 0, which means that this was the last step of the recursion, so essentially no recursion. Okay, or just one level of it, but yeah. So I guess I could do something like Brussels add, no, Brussels add go and Google the pics. All right. I'm not sure if I set start page up on my Chromium browser, but yeah. What was it? Rust drip, right? Uh-huh. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. It kind of has the same bending as our version. So yeah, some bars that are actually quite thick, and then some tinier ones. Cool. Yeah, I mean, maybe we can take the whole thing in this direction as well. But I don't know what would be the lore. You have to oxidize a bunch of metal. Right, okay. And then this game is sponsored by Hammerite, right? Yeah, there's a problem with this recursion bit, but I'm just going to think about this for a while and come up with a solution, because I don't want the recursion to be hitting the same vessel. Although I could try it and maybe it would look cool, and then we can just play with the values and stuff like that. So okay, so amount should be amount times, no, amount should be, yeah, amount times propagation ratio, and propagation ratio should be propagation ratio. So this is still a terrible variable name. I'm going to go with a different terrible name called spillover ratio. What the? Okay. Something is definitely sus. Also, I could probably cap this. Okay. I screwed up something else as well. Or did I? Okay, this part is working fine. But this part... This is super weird. It actually stops the water coming from the ship. Why? And why is it bouncing like that? What the heck? I don't know if you're back, Flavius, but you would love this. Because yesterday you mentioned that I scramble when I encounter some saucy situations, and this is exactly that sort of thing, so yeah. The robots took over the world and took away water from humans. Okay, so far so good. So a group of brave people gathered enough water to make the robots rust, right? Make the robots code in Rust. Holy shit. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the suggestion, Tibor. Yeah, yeah. Well, it was inevitable to for a Rust as in code decoding language. So a Rust one to come up, I guess. Okay. I'm going to think about this. So here I'm calling add, which is good, but the recursion stuff is not correct, and it's making some very saucy side effects. For one thing, I think I want the the spillover to only happen if the amount is fairly big, so over 0.1. What? Okay, so I wanted to do that. Okay, so this fixed it. I'm guessing that a lot of recursion was happening for no good reason. And there still probably is a lot of recursion happening. So this two neighbor stuff is not great. I'll just need to. So when a vessel is hit, a virtual vessel is hit, I just need to find a bunch of neighboring ones, but not just the ones that are right next to the current one. But yeah, I need to do this with, I don't know, 4 loops or something. Either that, Or I could try doing the calculation only once per tick, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll just disable this part of thing and maybe make a little to-do comment for myself. So to do maybe. Boom. I'm going to understand what I meant here, so that's good. I'm just going to ignore this bit for now, because this is all right. I think I'm going to crack on with the with a feature. So I'm going to try to grow some stuff from the ground, and the stuff should just pick up the water from the ground in order to grow. And this is what I'm going to continue with in a moment. Okay, so question is, how should the plants work? I guess for now I can just do something temporary, like clicking somewhere to plant something, but maybe later we could probably do something like dropping a seed from the ship or something, and when it hits the ground it gets deployed, so to speak, and then it should start growing, right? I'm guessing this could work. So for now I'm going to just create a sprite, probably, which will be the little seed or the wannabe plant that I can just put anywhere by clicking the ground. And once it's placed, it should start growing and sucking the water out of the ground, right? So yeah, let's just do that. I'm going to create a new sprite for this. Also, I wanted to do some cleanup, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, there's an instance of this vessel object here, which is now gone. I'm just going to go through the usages of it, although I could probably just delete the whole thing, but I want to play it safe. So yeah, what were these used for? These were used for the specifically for the vessel object. So I can just get rid of this. Then there was this arithmetic stuff that, oh yeah, it used some exponential decay to smooth the growing animation. So this can be removed altogether. There were some timers, yeah, definitely not needed anymore. I mean, they were disabled already, so. And also this part, this is called in a couple places. So this is gone, and then this was the recursion part, so this can be removed. This can be removed altogether. Nice. Okay, what else is there? Nothing. No more references. Okay, so bye-bye, vessel. Now we are using an array to do the same, roughly the same effect, or the same feature. So that's good. Yeah, okay. So I will need to create a new object, which will be the seed. So I'm just going to create a new sprite called seed and go with the good old temporary programmer art. I think I'm going to make a 10 by 10 pixel circle. Done. Origins in the middle. I don't really care about the collision, polygon, or hitbox. This is fine. So seed should be placed when the player clicks for now, which is just a temporary measure, but we should definitely be able to place it somewhere. So when I right click somewhere, or maybe I could do something like right clicking an object which is of the ground, not family, but is there a family? No, there's no family. That's fine. So when the player clicks the ground with the right click, I need to spawn a seed. And to do that, I'm already going to make a custom action. So I'm going to create a new action sheet called a seed. And luckily there's an emoji that is perfect for the purpose. So I'm going to create a new custom action called spawn, for the seed called spawn. And this should take, let's go with the classic X and Y coordinate. And for now, this is fine. So when the player clicks a ground instance, I just need to call seed spawn with and not mouse X and mouse Y, because I want the seed to be placed on the top of the ground object. So I'm instead going of Y, I'm going to do something different. So for X, mouse X is fine. I mean, it's already overlapping with the ground object, the cursor in this case, so this is all right. And instead of mouse Y, I'm going to say ground.bb top. So bbox top. So this is where the seed should spawn. And now we actually need to spawn it. So I'm going to say create object seed, layer should be the main one, I guess. X and Y should be X and Y, so the parameters. And there's no hierarchy yet, but there probably will be a hierarchy later. So I'm just going to wing it. So the seed should be now spawning when I'm clicking the ground, but it should spawn at the top of the ground. So yeah, that's good. This is done. Also, I am going to spawn this on a different layer for sure. I'm going to create a new layer that is definitely above the canvas, because I don't want the seed to be overlapped by the canvas, I guess. I'm going to name it plants for now. I'm going to create a macro for it because I like doing that sort of thing. So now instead of main, I'm going to refer to the layer plants macro to get the correct name of the layer that I'm spawning the seed object instance on. And now that it's done, I'll need to have it tick, I guess. I mean, not literally, because a timer should probably cut it. Also, I think I'm going to create a family for this because I may or may not need to do some family related stuff, or picking multiple instances that are overlapping or something like that. So I'm just going to create a family called fseed. And I am also going to add a timer behavior in it. You have returned, Flavius, that's good. How was shopping? Did you get everything that you wanted to get? Hopefully. Let me just show you where we are at the moment. Some visual changes happened, but not a lot. So watering looks like this now. It's a little gradient line that starts growing from the top of the ground objects. And it looks a bit like Rust, but for now, this is fine. So I got rid of all the bunch of bajillion objects that were the little bars that were overlapping the ground, which would represent the amount of water that is stored in the ground. And instead, we are now updating a drawing canvas object. And right now we are updating it every tick, which is overkill, but it's pretty good performance so far, at least on my beefy PC. So this is where we are at the moment. And right now I started implementing the planting mechanic because I may or may not want to go in a gardening direction with this game. So if I click somewhere on the ground, then a seed will be placed on top of the ground like this. And this is just temporary because, of course, this will not be the way that I want the player to place seeds for growing plants, but for testing purposes, this is all right. And now I want to have the little seed grow an actual plant out of it. I don't know how. I haven't thought through the visual representation bit, but I definitely wanted to gather the moisture from the ground, so it will essentially start reducing the amount of water that is in the ground in a radius, I guess. So yeah, this is where we are. Not all but enough. Well, good enough principle is good enough, I guess. There should be a route that goes down, definitely, and it gets longer. Yeah, absolutely, it should, but not right now. But yeah, definitely. And also, I'm not so sure how to do the plant thing anyway. So, do I want a bunch of branches that are branching out, or do I just have a few frames of an animation and switch those? I don't know. For now, I'm just going with some super basic, ugly-looking programmer art, and then we'll tackle this thing hopefully next week if we have the time, which is not so sure. But yeah, the whole root stuff would be great. It would look great. But then again, branches are not too easy to do, I guess, because you need to figure out a way when to grow a new branch from an existing one, which direction should it go, and stuff like that. So yeah, you might need to do something that is simpler, like a fixed sprite or something that just looks like a whole root system. Okay, I'm going to go on a bio break for 2 minutes, so I will be right back. And I'm contemplating getting another coffee. No, not right now. So yeah, I will be right back in 2 minutes, guys. Stick around if you want, and yeah, see you soon. I am back indeed. Let me just check chat. On the lower end, there should be an invisible circle or 50% opacity, brown one, that shows there are, I'm guessing, where the plant can suck water. Okay, I'm going to try to think and digest this sentence. So, yeah, we probably need to have a proper visual representation of the area that the plant can get the water from. Overlapping vessels give out their water, definitely. Yeah, that's what I meant by the radius stuff. So yes, I can just calculate the radius. I mean the distance, but you are probably right on the visual representation part as well, because we do need to show this to the player, I think, so that they are, they know how far they should plant, or not the best expression. So how far the plants should be from each other, so that it's optimal. Okay, let's just go with the first implementation once again, retrieving the water from the vessels. So when a seed is planted, a timer should probably start, and every time the regular timer is up, then the water should be reduced, possibly. Yeah, I think that's probably good. So I already added the timer behavior, so I can just I need to create a macro for it. Let's just do that. Also, is this needed anymore? No, it's not. And is this needed anymore? Yeah, it is. Okay, so timer seed, or maybe I could call it plant as well. And it should be timer plant. No, I don't know what the expression should be. Get water. No, this is not great. Let's just go with that for now, or drink, maybe. I'll rename it later. So the plants are actually drinking, and now that I think about it, I think I'm going to go with F plant and plant instead of seed, because even though they start as seeds, they will actually turn into plants, and it would be better if I name the objects plants. So I already named the layer plants, so yeah, that was the hint. Okay, so plant start timer, and it should be something fairly low, so let's go with 0.1, and plant drink should be the timer tag, and it should be a regular one. I'm going to make a classic to-do-mn comment for myself, because 0.1 is a magic number once again. So let's go to the eTimers event sheet, which is clear at the moment because I removed everything from it, because I got rid of the old vessel object. So now I need to do something like plant on timer, and this timer, of course, and this is where I need to reduce the amount of water in the ground that is related to the plant, which I also need to somehow save. I mean, I could do an overlap check as well, but I don't really need to do that. I could just probably put it in a hierarchy, or maybe use like a UID instance variable. Hierarchy is probably good, because if we want to have moving platforms, moving ground, then it would be cool if we move the ground and everything in it, including the plants, would move. So I think I'm going to do that. Which also means that I need to specify the ground object instance when I'm calling the plant action. Although I can probably just automatically get it with the overlap check, so no. Plant overlapping another object, and the other object is ground. Yep. I can just do ground add child and plant, and for now I'm going to disable synchronization of the properties, but or maybe I can keep the X and Y one. Why not? And for fun, I'm going to temporarily add a behavior on the ground object, so I can just test if it's working. I'm going to put drag and drop on it. Yep. This is another way to do the watering, I guess. Yeah. Good. Bye. That was it for drag and drop. Time to brainstorm pixel art, doc ok design ideas. All right. So yeah, I am out of the loop, but from what I've seen yesterday, I'm guessing that it's Dr. Octopus or something. I'm making an idiot of myself, but I really don't really watch comics and stuff like that. Watch comics, I mean, I don't read comics, and I don't watch Marvel movies and stuff like that, but I think you guys talked about another character. This is somehow related to Venom, right? I'm talking out of my ass and no idea. Dr. Otto Octavius. Okay, so it wasn't Dr. Octagonopus either, which is lucky. Right. I'm going to Google that. Right. But it kind of looks like Dr. Octagonopus. Okay, so that's another connection that I just made in my brain. Okay. Dr. Octagonopus, of course, is one of the main characters in the laser collection animations. I was tempted to say movies, but yeah. Nice. Okay, so this is fine, and what I need to do here is to actually retrieve the vessels from the ground. Plant pick parent ground. And I need to figure out how big of a distance should we allow the plant to retrieve water from. Which would probably be best expressed in a instance variable. So for the plant family, I'm going to add an instance variable that is more of a rule, so I can just specify this. I'm going to need to think about the name for this. So this should be the distance that the plant can retrieve water from, I guess. I'm going to go with the horrible name of drink radius. And also I'm going to set it to 10 pixels for now. So I just need to get the array, which is already picked because I picked the ground object, which has the array in a container with it. So what I need to do is to actually okay, so there's no for loop for the array, but that's fine. I can just do a for loop using a system condition. And yeah. Yeah. I am going to add the local variable that is plant index, which is not a great local variable name, but I am going to do that for now. So set value plant index, and this should be the index of the vessel array that the plant is overlapping with. I mean, the plant is placed somewhere on the ground, and it is perfectly overlapping with exactly one of the vessels, I guess. So this should be plant vessel index. This is better. And this should be calculated using some positional stuff. So plant.x minus ground.bbox left, I think. And once this is done, I can just start a for loop. Now the question is that should I do something like the plant can retrieve the most moisture from the closest vessel, and it actually kind of fades out towards the further ones, or do I want it to have a consistent retrieval? Wow, I have no idea. Different villain of Spider-Man, right? Okay. I mean, I was kind of guessing that, but yeah, I'm so freaking idiotic because I have no idea what you guys were talking about yesterday. I don't watch any superhero movies. I mean, I've seen a few of those, but mostly because some of my friends wanted to go to the cinema and watch the newest one, but I cannot recall any of them. Not my friends, the movies. Right. Okay, I'm going to go with the consistent approach at first, and then I'll branch out. So yeah, start index should be plant vessel index minus plant.r drink radius, and the end index should be exactly the same but with the plus. So hopefully this could work. And also I need to remove some water molecules from the vessel. So set at x should be probably the action that I need to use, and x should be loop index, and value should be vessels dot add loop index minus something. This value should also go in a probably go in a different instance variable, but for now I'm going to go with 1. However, I will also need to store this. For one thing, I need to check if the vessel even has enough water in it, and if it does, if it has any, then I need to get it from the vessel, remove it, I mean subtract it from it like this, but I also need to store the amount that I just gathered. So okay. I'm going to create a local variable called water gathered. I have IRL friends, well, a few, not too much. I mean, not too many, but yeah, I kind of do. I'm sure you have friends, Flavius, as well. This is just a trope, right, on Twitch, that nobody has any friends IRL, but I'm sure it's an exaggeration most of the time anyway. Probably there are some instances that it's correct, but yeah, I mean, we were just talking about yesterday about the comparison between IRL friends and internet friends, right? Internet friends are still good. In fact, sometimes they are better. Okay, so I need to store the amount that I'm yoinking from the vessel. So variable names are hard today. So let me just add the rule that I was talking about. So r drink radius is one thing, and r drink amount per vessel. Oof. Let's just go with 1. So this should be either what is in the vessel or the amount that the plant is capable of gathering from a vessel. So I'll need to use the larger value. So either this or no, the lower value, right? Yeah. So either this or plant.r amount per vessel. Okay. So this variable holds the amount that is about to be gathered from the vessel, and once it's done, then I actually need to reduce the amount in the vessel by this, I guess. Ooh, cool. Look, it's drinking. It's still quite weird, but it's actually working. Yeah, this looks like crap. I might need to randomize it a little or something so it's not completely consistent all the time. Nice. Let me just check chat. I do not many, but they are the best. It's exactly my situation. A few friends, but they are super awesome, and I hope that they will remain my friends for the rest of my life. I think it's quite common in our generation, isn't it, Flavius? I mean, our generation. I know that I'm older than you, but yeah, most of the people that I know of, even those that are not necessarily my friends, you really don't have too many friends. Then again, who has the time these days, right? Okay, can I just clean it up a little? Like this. Yep. Okay. It's quite good, I would say. Okay, let's add some randomization factor. Also, what is a good expression? I mean, what is a good verb for that describes the action that a plant is doing when it's taking up the moisture? Because drink is weird. It's not drinking, but also drink is quite short and self-explanatory, so that's why I used it. But if any of you guys have any better ideas for a verb that is representing the drinking process of a plant, then please feel free to shoot it in chat. Okay, I also need to put a little variable that will actually contain the time interval for the plant's drinking action. So I'm going to go with 0.1 because I think I used it as a magic number somewhere when I spawned the plant. So also I need to rename this. So instead of a seed, it's going to be called a plant, this event sheet or action sheet. And I can just do plant.r drink interval. Good. So this is one to do mn command gone. And also I will need to refactor this into a custom action as well. So I'm going to create one. Whoops. I got one, but that sucks. Thanks, thanks, Tibor. Always appreciated. Oh, were you talking about friends or were you talking about a better word for a drink? I got confused. Confused that exe is having problems in my head. I skipped a few messages, I'm guessing. Yeah, I did. If both groups are the best, they should fight for the best of the best. Definitely, definitely. The drink, right? Okay, good, good. That's Then I think I got the joke. Okay, what am I doing? Also, yeah, I think I probably want to do the whole thing with the family instead of the plant object, right? So yeah, let's create new ones for fplant, as in the family of plants. And I'm going to call it drink for now, and move all that stuff that I put here to there. Also, I can probably, maybe not. So yeah, I'm going to say plant drink and move this to here. and just once again replace the object of plant with fplant. Okay, this is how I usually do things in Construct, but yeah, it's not probably quite opinionated, and sometimes I don't have logic to back it up why I'm doing it like that. But I usually define custom actions for families, and when I call them, because I could totally do something like that, but I don't. So when I'm calling stuff, I'm just using the normal object type instances, which are members of the family. So yeah. Right, okay, let's see if it's still working or if I screwed up something. Okay, seemingly it is working. Right. Also, I need to add the water gathered from vessel variable to this, so I can calculate how much water is actually gathered during a drinking action. So I'm going to say add water gathered sum, and I'm going to add the water gathered from vessel variable, which is quite long, but it's I think it's a good explanation of what's happening here. So yep. Yeah, and when this happens, I need to check if the plant is actually drinking anything, just so there's a little visual feedback. So if a plant is out of water completely, I want to paint it red or something. So I need to compare water gathered sum. If it's equal to 0, then I'm going to set the color of the plant object to red. Oops, wrong object. Okay. And otherwise, I'm going to set it back to white for now. So if I plant something here, it will also immediately become red. And if I start watering it, it becomes white. And after a while, after it sucked all the water from the ground, it should once again become red. Okay. I'm going to pop a build on itch once again, because why not? It's it takes like 2 minutes, so. Or maybe not even 2. And I'm also going to create a new version of the project, so I'm going to pop up the version number to 10 and save it as a new file. By the way, most people are probably using, I mean, proper professional devs or something are using project folders, but I have a weird setup because I do put all my Construct projects inside Dropbox, which is handy because Dropbox automatically synchronizes everything to the cloud. And it's a good backup mechanism, and also it saved my butt a couple of times when I overwrote something or something crashed. And back in I don't know, like 2 years ago, there were issues when for some reason some things ended up 0-byte files when saving them. I'm not sure if it was Construct's fault or maybe the browser, I don't know. But if that sort of thing happens, then I can just roll back to a previous version because Dropbox keeps the previous versions up for a while anyway. So yeah, and since I also have the weird words are eluding me. So if I have the weird practice of putting emojis in the event sheet names. If I'm using project folders, then these emojis end up in actual file names, because when you create an event or an object in Construct and save it as a project file, it will actually create a file for that event sheet or a file for that object, and it will just have the same name. And Dropbox is not allowing emojis in file names. So yeah, that's why I just use the good old classic C3P project files, which are just zips that contain the project folder. But in this way, the emoji stuff in file names are not causing issues. So yeah, that is my reason. The plant is sucking. Yeah. Is the plant horny? Well, I am not so sure how to answer that question, but yeah, it's a good one, Flavius. Yeah, I'll try to avoid the word suck in code. I mean, my code sucks anyway, so yeah, why would I actually put it there? Also, I will need to like look up some expressions in like botanical textbooks or something if I'm going to focus on plants in this project. So I guess it's one way to learn. Okay, C3P. Oh no, yeah, no, it's a C3P and not 3CP. But yeah, I might have screwed that up. No 3C, C3PO, I guess. No. I can't think of a pun for that, sorry. Okay, I think I'm going to try to do some sort of growth, I guess, for the plants. Some visual representation, or what else could be there? What should I do? Because, as I mentioned, I have no to-do list for this project, not yet anyway. Or maybe I should do the planting mechanic properly by ejecting a seed from the ship, I guess. I don't know how to do that. Or one thing that I also mentioned to Tibor that I have plans for is to actually have a limited amount of water in the ship. So the player will need to refuel, I guess, rewater or something. So land somewhere that there's a well or something like that, and after some time the tanks are filled up with water, and then you can go ahead and spread it around. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. Oh yeah, I wanted to randomize the consumption as well. Wow, something is definitely sus. Okay, that's a problem. I think I know what's wrong. I forgot A for each, probably. Yep, I'm pretty sure that was the problem. So whenever you are doing a on-timer event or condition in construct, be sure to add a for each for it, because otherwise it's not going to pick all instances properly, only the first one. So that's why only one of the plants were sucking up the liquid from the ground and the others were not, I think. Okay, let's do the randomization bit so it would look better. So it's not consistently retrieving the same amount of liquid from the ground. I can probably do something like adding a rule so that amount per vessel has a minimum and a maximum. So I can just do that. Right, so if 1 is the minimum, I can say 2 is the maximum, and yeah, I'll need to figure out something for this. So the plant should try to retrieve at least this much from the ground, but there should be a chance that a bigger amount is actually retrieved, and this one is that bigger amount, which is randomized between the min and max values. So ideally it should pick up this much, which could be at most 2, or not 2, but almost 2. And if that fails, then at least this should be picked or used, which is 1 at the moment. And in any other case, the current amount that is in the vessel, which is probably lower than this one, should be gathered. So okay. Now it's not as consistent, which is good, but it's still quite consistent. Okay, what happens if I completely water the ground and plant something here? It's still consistent. What the? Also, why is it that choppy? This should be max, right? Because I need to pick the no. Sorry, I need to think about this a little. So yeah, this is incorrect. I'm going to rewrite it in a minute. I just need to think about it. Don't rush it. Deep breath. Flavius, what are you saying? You guys are having fun. Assimilate. It's quite long, but yeah, it's not bad. But assimilate is kind of like join together, right? Jesus, Flavius. You're a mod. Should I remind you? No, I'm just joking. This is fine. It's cool. Okay. Yeah, this is going to look ugly, but I'm just going to do that anyway. So what I need to do is to... It should probably start with something like that. Because this is the part that makes sure that only the remaining water is removed from a vessel if it's lower than the minimum that the plant is about to drink. Yeah, I'm overcomplicating the things a bit, but I mean, I could just create a new variable that stores an amount that is attempted to be removed. I was the one that provoked you. Why? Because I used the word suck in context of water being removed from the ground. Is that what you're saying, Flavius? Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, what was I doing? Yeah, okay, so I need to properly calculate the amount that is about to be removed from the ground. And to do that, so yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll need to add another freaking local variable. So, no, this is cool. The name of it is not great, but yeah. So this will hold the amount that is ideally retrieved. But if this is actually more than the amount that is inside the vessel at the moment, I need to reduce it. Crap, my brain is slowing down. I should probably stop at one point. But yeah. So this amount is the right one, the ideal one. Then I need to reduce it if there's not enough. Yeah, I'm overcomplicating stuff. So definitely I'm doing that. Yeah, no need to do that. No need to do that whatsoever. Done. Okay. Definitely better, although it's a little choppy. But I'm guessing that this could be reduced by decreasing the interval that the plant is drinking at, I guess. So, because I really don't want to do any other kind of smoothing, so I can just say something like this. And yeah, this is smooth enough. I would say. So okay, there's room for optimization, but I'm not going to bother with that for now. So I'm just going to either wrap it up now or make one more easy feature. So I've been streaming for more than 2 hours now. Okay. Stop saying suck. Yep. I'm trying my best not to say that. Yeah. This project is full of saucy words anyway. And I'm not going to say the rest of them, but yeah. There's room for puns. A lot of room. Okay, what should I do? Yeah, I think I'm going to try to do the limited amount of water that is in the ship for now. I do have a family for the ship. No, I don't. I thought I did. Oh, yeah, I do. I just named it player instead of ship. I keep referring it to as ship, but it's actually called player, but that's fine. So I'm just going to create an instance variable called r water amount max that holds the current amount of water in the ship. And I have no idea how much should that be, so I'm going to go with 100 for now. And what I need to figure out is how to actually reduce this as the watering is happening, because I have no idea how the watering is happening. I kind of forgot. So let's just figure that out. So, okay, so in shoot is enabled when the player is clicking. So in the player's tick custom action, here's the rub. Here's movement, I don't care about that, and here's shooting. Shooting, I mean, it's watering, right? Once again, it's not the best word. Limit for future, present for this third. Yeah. I mean, you're probably right, but this is fairly easy to implement, so I'm just going to end up on this. I'll finish up and then I'll probably raid somewhere. By the way, Flavius, are you going to stream? Because, you know, I could raid you, for example, if you want to have another pixel art or a game dev stream. And if you are, you know, up for the task at the moment, because you might be occupied. So I'm just asking if you have plans as such. Also, even though I still want to continue for a couple minutes, I'm going to just quickly check who's streaming at the moment. Not a lot of people. I mean, not a lot of people I follow. Okay, so here's the super primitive way of spawning the water particles. This is a freaking magic number once again. These should really go in instance variables as well. I should probably use an instance variable that specifies how much water is actually should actually spawn per second, I guess. So let's try to do that, and I'm going to try my best to do this in a frame rate independent way. So water particles per second, because right now I'm spawning 50 water particles at every 1 tick, which is probably not great, but it will definitely look different if I'm if the game is running at different frame rates, which is a bit tricky, but I'm just going to try to at least spawn the same amount of water, roughly the same amount of water particles every second, whether it's 60 FPS or 300 or 10, I don't know. But they will behave differently, they will move differently, because they are colliding not with each other, but with the ground. So yeah, I'm going to set this to, I don't know, 500 for now. Maybe it should be called particles per second. And instead of doing this 50 bit, I'm going to say delta time times fplayer dot r water particles per second. Let's just see how this looks. Okay, so this is a lot less. So I mean, if the game is running at 60 FPS, it was 50, right? Yeah. So if it's running at 50 FPS, this just means that there should be 3,000 particles. Oops. Spawning every second to have the roughly same effect as before. So yeah, this kind of looks like the same. That's cool. And if delta time is smaller, that means that the game is running at a higher frames per second. And if it's and in this case, this number should be a little lower. So that's cool. Also, I did a little to-do comment for myself to possibly use object pooling instead of creating new particles and destroying them later. But yeah, I'm not going to bother with that now. So I'm just going to limit the amount of water that is available for the player, and this should probably mean that I need to specify the water amount in particles, which is a bit weird, but yeah, why not? Why not? I'm going to do that. So I'm going to crank up the value to something like so for example, if I want the player to have enough water to continuously spray for 5 seconds, then this means that the amount should be 15,000, sorry. So yeah, I need to calculate how much water should leave the ship during every tick. Water particle counts should be a local variable, and oops, it should be ideally this, or if this is actually bigger than the amount that is in the player's ship, then just the amount that is in the player's ship should be used. So once again, I'm going to need to do min fplayer.r. Oh crap, no, I forgot to make the variable. Whoops, sorry, 1 second. So I need to create a new instance variable which holds the current amount of water that is in the ship. Water amount. So I need to do this. Oops. Okay, fplayer. I am making mistakes, right? fplayer.water amount, or this amount, and I'm just going to join this and say water particle count. I mean, I could say water amount as well, so it's more consistent. Now, this also means that I need to initialize the player. So when the player is initialized, it's actually probably called already. Yes. So when the player object is created, I'm calling the init custom action, which is where I'm setting the world gravity to 0. But this is for physics only. So the water particles are actually, they have their own gravity. So this is where I need to fill up the player's ship to the max, I guess. And then later I'll implement something that refuels it. So I'm going to say fplayer set value of water amount to self.r water amount max. So the player starts with a full ship, and it will probably run out in 5 seconds or something. It's not running out, is it? Okay. Let me just... Yeah, I forgot to subtract the actual water amount. Whoops. So I need to check if the player actually has enough water. So if the player's water amount is greater or equal to, and this is not great, but water amount, the local variable, then I need to do the whole spraying stuff. And this is where I also need to subtract the amount from the player's instance variables. So fPlayer subtract from water amount and water amount. Wow, this is terrible, but this will work, hopefully. Or it won't. I'm just going to log the player's current water amount. So browser log water amount. Okay, player the water amount. Also, I'm just going to check chat. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Leave it for the future. Yeah, okay. I already read that. Working on the doc OC outline. Good. Control S and get some rest. Will do in a couple of minutes. But yeah. Player's water amount. fPlayer dot water amount. Good. Let's just open the console and see if the amount is actually reducing. Oh, I'm still logging the stuff in console about the vessels. Okay, so it's definitely reducing, but it's not reducing by a lot, and I wonder why. I screwed up something, right? Some calculation is wrong. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, the whole data time thing is actually wrong because I kind of forgot that I'm actually using a cooldown timer for the player. So yeah. This is definitely not great. So instead of using data time, I need to do something like R water spray interval. And use this instead of the freaking magic number once again. It wasn't 0.220, no, yeah, 0.01. So yeah, and I need to do let's just see what happens. Why did I agree to make a Doc OC pixel art and animated? Well, because you like giving people what they want, I guess, Flavius. That would be the short answer, I'm guessing, to this question. But yeah, you can blame it on Granger, I guess. Okay, I'll run out of water, which is good. However, the calculation is still a bit sus. Because let me just check what happens if I reduce this to 6,000. So this means that I could spray for 2 seconds, essentially. And this is way more than 2 seconds. Uncle Granger and Namori. Well, don't kill them. But yeah, maybe you should not encourage them to come up with ideas like that. But then again, it's good practice, right, Flavius? I mean, you were looking for ideas, so here's one. And it's quite good to, you know, get out of your comfort zone and do stuff that is actually challenging, because I mean, you can still do it. It'll just probably take some more time than you anticipated, but I'm sure it will be freaking cool in the end. But yeah, maybe you should, I don't know if you want to go affiliate and stuff like that on Twitch, but maybe you should have some sort of channel point redeem situation, you know, so not everyone can just, you know, request stuff. If you're this sort of guy who just, you know, says okay to this sort of thing anyway. Much like the nerds had the cursed art redeem, so maybe you should have a separate redeem for requesting tricky pixel art. Okay, I'm going to give it a few more minutes, then I'm going to wrap up, because yeah, this is kind of eating my brain at the moment. I'm just going to rubber duck the whole thing. So there's this variable called water amount this tick, which is already not good. So water spawn count, I'm going to name it. And this is set to the lower value, either whatever the player has, or the particles per second, which is right now 3,000, multiplied by the amount of time that the player has, I mean the amount of time that the player's cooldown is, which is 0.01 at this moment. So this means that this is going to spawn 30, which is already, is it doing that? I don't know, I'm not so sure. So yeah, this just ends up 30. And then this is not needed, or is it? If the player, because the player will also have, yeah, that amount because of this min stuff. So yeah, this can be removed. So this is definitely a bug, or is it? No, water amount is reduced by water spawn count. Okay, no, this is fine, I think. And then the actual spawning happens. So it's a bit weird. I'm not so sure why it's not, why is it taking this long, but I'm going to call it a day, I think. I'll figure this out later. I mean, the limitation is working, so I'm just going to publish one more build, and I'm going to look for a raid target. So the refueling bit will have to wait, I guess. I I'm not so sure when I'm going to stream next, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to stream sometime next week, possibly on the weekend. And if I'd had to guess, I would say Sunday, but maybe it won't be Sunday. But the last stream was on Sunday, and this stream is on Sunday, so maybe there's a pattern. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm just going to quickly see if the right build is up on Twitch. I mean itch. Okay, so this is cool. I can move around, I can spray the water, and the water is seemingly seeping into the ground, and now I'm out. By the way, if you guys want to restart the game, you can just press R and it will reset everything. So you'll have the chance to do it again all over. So this is where we are at the moment. Next week I'm going to talk with Tibor probably about possible mechanics that should be the minimum amount of mechanics that ends up in the game. I'm still not so sure if we can actually manage to submit something for this jam, but hopefully we will. But the problem is that I have a crap ton of stuff to do day job wise in the next 2 weeks until the end of February. So this means that I can only do jams on the weekend, and this also means that my brain is kind of fried by the end of the work week, I guess. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. You're gonna whoop their asses? Well, is that a threat? Also, you said, Flavius, that's the plan, but if I don't get affiliate, I'll figure out a way. Like you said, maybe something like Captain Coder. Yeah, Captain Coder has Firebot, I think, and it also has some ways to do the whole points and redeems thing. So yeah, this is something to consider. I'm sure that you'll get the offer to be affiliated because there are people watching you. So I think you're gonna hit the follower count soon if you keep streaming every week at least. So yeah, then you'll just have to make the decision whether you want ads, for example, on your channel. Because if you're okay with ads, then I don't see why not. Becoming an affiliate is not a good option because you get the emotes and channel points and all that cool stuff. So yeah, it's neat. Right. Thank you once again for being here, Flavius, Tibor, Granger. Who else was here? Yeah, Smods, yes, and also in the beginning we had Resurrected Studios, also fellow Construct devs. Thank you for joining, guys, and I'll catch you next week, I guess, if you have the time and you found the stream interesting enough, which is probably not that interesting, but yeah, we did some cool stuff, so there's progress. Definitely there's progress. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and also before I do that, I'm just going to quickly check who to raid because we have a few people, so why not? Okay, so I see a fellow Hungarian dev who also streams in English. He does Pico 8 stuff, so I think we should probably go there. I've been following him for a bit. He streams a lot of Minecraft for some reason, but he also does these very cool Pico 8 games. So yeah, he's a proper programmer. Yeah, Pico 8 is actually a freaking cool virtual console, I guess. Hey Tomatoes, szép napot, fiatalember! Szervusz kérlek, mi a helyzet? Éppen befejezem sajnos. So yeah, Tomatoes, I'm about to raid out actually, but thanks for joining. I appreciate it a lot. I don't know if you know Aki, or I'm not even sure if that's the right name, the right pronunciation of his name, but yeah, he's a Hungarian Pico 8 dev. So he does awesome games with huge freaking pixels because Pico 8's resolution is kind of small. Yeah, at least. I think that was your first time. Was that your first time? I'm not so sure, but probably. So yeah, I'm going to set this up quickly and catch you guys next time. Hope the raids are enabled for Aki or Achi or Achi. I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but he's cool. He has a PNG tuber and he is working on a Pico 8 game right now. So I pressed some buttons, I think. Yep. Doing good. Yeah, that's good to hear. I'm pretty good actually. My brain's a bit fried, but yeah, that's it. So thank you once again, guys, for being here, and let's say hi to Aki if you have the time. He's pretty freaking cool. So yeah, why not? I'm going to press right now. So catch you next time. Bye bye.